It was just a question of time before 50 Cent showed up. And when he did, he came in full blast. No filter, no compassion, just plain trolling. Instantly after Cassie's terrifying evidence regarding freak-off, hotel suites, baby oil, wigs, masks, and being taped without her knowledge.
Is very detailed information about what she says Sean Combs was having her participate in. And these are those freak-offs and how he would be providing her with drugs, suggesting that she take the drugs. And then she said she wanted to take the drugs for every single freak-off in order to disassociate with what was taking place. She said on the stand that she hated participating in these freak-offs. So this morning, what we've been seeing so far is this playing of the freak-off. So we cannot see this, but the jurors have a privacy screen on their monitor, so they're able to see some videos as well as some still images that the government has focused on in regard to these freak-offs. For the testimony, because we do not have cameras inside a federal courtroom, we're bringing it to you and giving you some quotes from what's said inside while Cassie has been on the stand. So she has been talking about how she was detailing how Combs would recover after the freak-offs. They used IV fluids, massages, and chef-prepared meals. She also said that she depended on opiates to make her feel numb and added she had an ongoing off and on addiction to some of the drugs. So some of the testimony that she has been providing so far, she was also detailing her declining health as a result of the frequent freak-offs. She had stomach issues as well as constant UTIs. Sometimes she had to participate in the freak-offs while infected. So we've heard this theme while she has been on the stand. She was also talking about how at times when she would be in the middle of her freak-offs, she might have to vomit, and then Sean Combs would still force her to participate in the freak-offs even though she was very, very ill.
50 was already up on the internet, making jokes as if it were a stand-up special. He named Diddy Fruit Pop, mocked his hotel arrangements, and stated that the trial was more entertaining than any show on Netflix. He even shared pictures of text messages and clown faces, questioning if Jay-Z still wanted to go out with his boy.
So as you know, the Diddy trial started today, and Cassie hit the stage, and 50 Cent could not control himself. Now, you know 50 Cent and Diddy have been enemies for the longest, and 50 Cent finds every reason to poke at Diddy. But today, he got so much ammo, it don't make no sense. So, 50 Cent just posted a picture of Sean Diddy Combs' jewelry selection. It's a bunch of hymns. And he wrote the caption, "I'm not sure if this is fair, but don't worry, be happy." He's a fool. 50, you out of control for that. Then he goes on and posts this picture. "Your Honor, this theory of Cassie kicking Diddy's ass, I'm not buying it." Yo, he's AIing pictures of himself in the court. That's crazy. He also decided to hit him with this. Yo, this guy's out of control. "Diddy said in your mouth," shaking my head. Yo, Diddy. You gotta. Then he gonna post this. "Down on your luck? Not feeling good today? Well, look at the bright side. You could be Diddy. Chin up." So 50 Cent he has unlimited ammunition now, especially considering the fact that this trial might go on for who knows how long.
But here's the thing. This trial is somber beneath the humor. Cassie talked about being trafficked, videotaped, humiliated, and exploited. And 50 Cent isn't merely laughing at Diddy. He's shredding the entire industry. The silence, the pseudo-friendships, the pseudo-love. This is more than celebrity gossip. It's a reckoning. And Cassie is bringing some truly horrifying things to light.
Because the idea on the defense side is to say that Cassie Ventura was not coerced into these sexual encounters with male prostitutes under threat of violence or humiliation the way prosecutors describe, but was a willing, even eager participant in the swingers lifestyle that they say Sean Combs led.
Aaron, there was also some pretty surprising testimony today about Combs' drug use, allegations that he was addicted to opiates and at one point overdosed. What did we learn?
Well, this was part of the defense strategy, to concede that he's a drug user. Now, maybe the public didn't know the extent, but the defense was pretty frank that at one point he was addicted to opiates. At one point he flew to Mexico to try what Cassie Ventura called a plant medicine type remedy that's not legal in the United States, that the two together tried just about every drug, MDMA, ecstasy, ketamine, that the night of the now infamous freak-off in 2016 in the Los Angeles Intercontinental Hotel, where an assault was then captured on video, that maybe Combs was high on a bad batch of MDMA. But the idea here, Eva, I think, was to say that the violence from Combs was not to coerce Cassie Ventura into sex. It was the result of drugs, or, in another aspect, was the result of jealousy and her infidelity. Because we also heard today, Eva, about her dating Kid Cudi and about her dating the actor Michael B. Jordan, and how that led to some pretty scary arguments, as Ventura put it, with Sean Combs.
Diddy constructed an entire empire on mystery and power. And now it's coming apart in court, in the papers and on 50 Cent's Instagram feed. When Cassie testified, the courtroom became very quiet. No music, no strobe lights. Just her voice, steady but lethal. She spoke of being drugged, trafficked, coerced into bizarre role-playing sessions with strangers, with Diddy lurking in the background.
The prosecution's star witness taking the stand, but it was more than that. It was how Cassie took that stand. You could hear a pin drop when those doors opened, and a visibly pregnant Cassie Ventura walking past a man she had not seen in 6.5 years. A man she says violently abused her for a decade. A man the prosecution said trafficked her. Well, she sat across from him, placed her overcoat behind her, turning her body slightly toward the jury, rubbing her pregnant belly throughout her testimony. Diddy, well, he was more fidgety than he was the day before. He was passing notes. He pushed himself away from the defense table and largely sat like that. They never seemed to make eye contact with one another, not even after she was crying about having loved him once and planning and participating in these freak-off sex parties because she feared him and she wanted to make him happy, but feeling worthless, feeling disgusting because she didn't want to do it. Now, with each moment, the testimony became more and more graphic. Her delivery, though, it never changed. It was matter of fact, steady, calm. At times, she was even critical of herself, walking us all through how a 10-album record deal came over a 10-year period of abuse and sexual humiliation. And once you hear Cassie's testimony, you'll understand why the courtroom was so tense. She described the freak-offs in lurid detail. She testified about Diddy, who she called Sean, choreographing it all. And she explained a pattern of physical abuse that she could not escape. Cassie told the jury about one freak-off at a hotel where Diddy told her to get into an inflatable pool filled with warm baby oil. The prosecutor asked, "What concerns did you have about not getting into the pool with baby oil?" Cassie responded, quote, that, amongst other things, just his temper. If that is something that he wanted, Sean wanted to happen, that was going to happen. There wasn't another way around it.
And this wasn't a one-time, two-time thing. This was a pattern. There were lights, wigs, cameras. Like a twisted music video nobody requested. And 50? He was also watching on his phone, munching popcorn, tweeting every few hours as if it were a live sporting event.
You heard what he just said, right? He's like, yo, certain things they let it go by because it's puff. Like they would look, like he would say stuff, and it's like he wasn't like in the closet, he was like in the hallway. Now you see so much that you go, wait. No, this was visible.
He was in the hallway. We saw the video. We saw that video.
It comes out later. You're like, that's not the closet. That's the hallway. He didn't give a fuck. Like, you can tell that he was already.
Nah, New York is dope. Because when Fab, he was like, yo, Fab, we ain't party. Fab was like, nah, we partying tonight.
He's like, no, like, but he didn't party.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yo, they let that one go. Like, I had to say something about it later because I was like, oh, it was fair.
What does it feel like all these years, you being the only one calling this out?
I look like I've been the crazy guy for a long
They
time.
said you're a hater. They
You're
said
a
you're
hater.
crazy.
You're do this. Yeah, and now everybody's complaining. My is hurting. This all this shit is coming.
50, you can't make jokes about it.
No.
The internet might come for you, bro.
All I'm saying
It
is,
might come from
you
you.
see it now. All of these complaints. People were damn, they were raped and pillaged. This is what was going on, right? And what do I get for I went through years of a hater. You're a hater. You want this and that. I'm just watching. Like, I look at things and go, when you see the new lawsuit coming with Jay, the part with Jay, I go, oh shoot, like. Then I think about it, I go, that had to be there. So when I was saying that he was missing, he just wasn't actively being out there because they was dealing with that.
Wait, do you think there's truth to the Jay thing? There's no way.
I don't know. Like that, look, you know what's ill? Like if you say, I have this thing where I'm conflicted when it takes you 20 years to remember something happened to you.
But jokes weren't all. 50 began calling out others as well. He inquired, why Jay-Z still hanging around him? Then he took shots at other celebrities who remained silent. Y'all knew what was going on, he posted. Y'all just ain't care till the receipts dropped. Jay-Z has been rumored to be involved in Diddy's activities.
And a federal judge has ruled the woman alleging she was raped by Jay-Z and Sean Diddy Combs can remain anonymous. The woman says both men raped her at a party when she was 13 years old. Jay-Z's legal team had fought to get the case dismissed, arguing his accuser should have to reveal her name, but the judge disagreed. ABC's Morgan Norwood has the latest.
A legal victory for the woman who is suing Jay-Z for allegedly raping her when she was 13. A federal judge ruling the woman can proceed with the case while remaining anonymous, at least for now. But the judge also chastising the lawyers representing Jay-Z, accusing them of trying to fast-track the judicial process by repeatedly filing motions to reveal the identity of the Jane Doe to have the case dismissed. The judge writing in a 5-page brief that the Carter's lawyers' relentless filing of combative motions containing inflammatory language and ad hominem attacks is inappropriate, a waste of judicial resources, and a tactic unlikely to benefit his client. The court will not fast-track the judicial process merely because the counsel demands it. This latest legal twist coming after the recently filed civil lawsuit by Jane Doe, claiming that Jay-Z, whose real name is Sean Carter, and P. Diddy, drugged and raped a 13-year-old girl at an after-party after the MTV Music Awards in 2000, while an unnamed celebrity watched. Jay-Z has vehemently denied all the allegations, putting out this statement 2 weeks ago, writing in part, "This is a blackmail attempt." The multi-platinum artist, who was 30 at the time, now a business mogul with decades of hits to his name, with songs like Run This Town.
We are, yeah, I said it, we are. This is Rock Nation, pledge your allegiance.
His attorneys have denied everything about Jane Doe's account and pointed to some alleged inconsistencies in her story.
It's not just that this story is a lie and that it's not true. It's provably, demonstrably false. This never happened.
The judge writing that while Jane Doe can remain anonymous for now, she may be required to reveal her identity at a later date to allow Jay-Z's lawyers to collect facts necessary to prepare for trial.
Oftentimes, when someone is accused of a crime like this, the accuser doesn't want to be named, and if they are forced to be named, we have seen certain people decide to drop the lawsuit altogether.
Morgan Norwood, thank you. And Tony Busby, the lawyer representing Jay-Z and Diddy's accuser, says in a statement to ABC News, quote, "I will say that the coordinated and desperate efforts to attack me as counsel for alleged victims are falling flat. We won't be bullied or intimidated." And we did reach out to Jay-Z and his team, but did not get a response.
The most uncivilized part? Diddy has not clapped back even once. No post, no whisper. He's just sitting in court, arms folded, as the world lights him up, and 50 takes the lead. It's as if each day another layer unwraps itself. Cassie's words rattled the courtroom, but 50 ensured the world heard them. Loudly. Because while Diddy's camp is attempting to play everything off as complicated relationships, 50's making one thing plain. Nah, you're finished, Fruit Pop, and everyone's watching you burn.
You have something huge coming up, which is a documentary about P. Diddy, Puff Daddy, P. Diddy.
Yeah.
Did he do it, right?
Yeah,
This
yeah.
is- I know
He did
you've been heavy on social media talking about it.
He did it. And I'm the only one who's been vocal about this long before it actually.
Oh, you've been saying this for a long time now. And then no one was, they're just, why is he saying this? And now it's coming out like crazy. I mean,
But I also didn't participate. I also didn't go to those parties.
Yeah.
So a lot of the celebrity culture that you don't hear saying anything is because they participated to a degree.
Was there a reason you never went to those parties back in the day? Obviously, I know what was going on there, but is there a reason you never did?
I'm just not with all that freaky shit. Like all of the stuff that he's doing, I'm not into that type of stuff. I'm just a little more, maybe you could say basic or normal. You go into the 90s and Keefe D said he paid him to kill Tupac.
Yeah.
It's a little, like, you get the craziest accusations. You had TMZ created a docuseries. They went to Tubi, but the series is saying the downfall of Diddy.
Now let's talk about the real circus, the freak-off rooms.
And now we're learning about the supplies that were apparently used in the freak-offs. Again, the star witness is Cassandra Ventura. She and Diddy were in a relationship for 10 years. It ended in 2018. Cassie sued Diddy in 2023, and he settled that suit the very next day. That lawsuit was a major spark to the story that has brought us to what's playing out in court right now. This week, we heard Cassie tell her story to the jury. She says that Combs beat her, berated her, and forced her to take part in what has been called freak-offs. They're alleged drug-fueled sex parties involving escorts. Cassie said they were mentally and physically exhausting. She claimed that the freak-offs often left her with sores, UTIs, and needing IVs to recover. The jury has seen pictures of injuries from the relationship, Cassie says, like bloody lips and black eyes that she claims that Diddy gave her when they were together. The jury has also seen a video of Diddy assaulting Cassie in the hallway of an LA hotel in 2016 that was leaked to CNN. That's been seen by millions of people. That video, Cassie testified, shows her trying to escape a freak-off party. Now, the jury has also heard testimony from Cassie about the physical toll that she said freak-off parties had on her. This is an exchange from the transcript. When she was speaking with the prosecution, she said, quote, "Occasionally, I would get sores on my tongue from the freak-offs, the taking drugs, substances, and just friction in my mouth." She says that friction wasn't just from oral sex, but also from having her mouth on things covered with oil and other lubricants. The jury, we know, has seen an image from the freak-offs, but we don't know what that image really looks like. Our reporter, who has been in the courtroom every day, says it was only shown to jurors. It was not shown to those who have been sitting in the gallery. The defense, in its cross-examination, has been having Cassie read dozens of text messages that she and Combs sent to each other during their relationship. Messages like this one, trying to show that she was a willing participant in the freak-offs. Combs asks, quote, "When do you want to freak off, LOL?" And then Cassie replies, "LOL, I am just going up to change and put my ring in. I just picked it up. I'm always ready to freak off, LOL. LOL. The defense is trying to paint Combs and Ventura's relationship as one that was far more loving and consensual than Cassie's testimony presented thus far, and also prove that she wasn't forced to be part of the freak-offs, but she was a willing participant, and beyond that, she often organized them, they say. That she was the one who contacted the escorts often and put these things together.
Cassie said Diddy had a whole checklist. Nails had to be French tipped, body waxed, wigs ready. Sometimes she wore masks, other times stripper heels and leather. All this while, Diddy played director, choosing the lighting, controlling the camera angles, even handing out baby oil like it was lotion in a spa. Except this wasn't a fantasy, it was a prison.
Yeah, and that's, of course, makes things much more complicated because usually you try to, in the best case circumstances, you want to keep your personal life and your professional life separate. But here's an instance where it's one and the same. And so now you've got the cycle of violence where you have a violent incident, then I would assume, because that's usually how it goes, the perpetrator, Diddy in this case, would be like, "I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to do it. Oh my gosh, the flowers, the jewelry, all the other things. I really love you. This is never going to happen again." And of course, the survivor, because they are in love with the person, continues in the relationship. And then there's a period of peace. It could be months, it could be weeks, it could be a day. It all varies based on the relationship. And again, over time, that cycle gets tighter and tighter, where more violent events start to happen in a shorter amount of time versus maybe in the beginning of the relationship where there might be a violent incident and then the next one hypothetically could be a month later. So the cycle is basically the violent event, apologies, a honeymoon period, a buildup, and then another violent incident. And so she's been testifying about how he's brutalized her, but then again, you see them out on the red carpet, you see, her with jewelry and cars and all of these things, which is basically kind of like blood contributions, right? Because he's trying to get her to stay with him and obviously not report and not tell everybody his business. And again, a lot of this we saw in terms of the lawsuit, how quickly he settled, because he knew what was all going to come out. And he knew once the public started to hear about this was going to be very destructive for him. And of course, the law enforcement investigation really took it over the top. So I think this is going to be very much centered on the battered person's experience and having those experts really explain to the layperson how these types of relationships work.
And 50 Cent? He took all that and turned it into meme warfare. But what made it worse were the texts. Cassie testified that Diddy would text her midday, asking if she was ready to perform. If she didn't respond quickly enough, he'd get cold, emotionless. One message read, "Who you wanna f tonight? Wanna call someone?" Cassie wasn't even thinking like that. She just wanted to be with him. But Diddy always pushed her toward others. Paid escorts. Strangers. 50 Cent took a few shots at Diddy a few months ago, implying Diddy and Jay-Z needed drugs to feel the intimacy of women.
He's seemingly around Diddy.
I don't know. That was a real suburb question.
Yeah, I know, right? Proximity.
And proximity.
Proximity. That's the SAT hit parade word.
Do you think he fucking knew all of the shit that was going on? Then I was like
I don't want to incriminate myself.
I know, but the way he said it.
Like I said.
No matter how you answer that shit, you snitching.
Yeah, exactly.
That was a narc kind of question.
You asked the question like a fan.
Hey, I grew up with white people, but one thing I know is how to get a black guy in trouble.
But it's a great question.
Yo, just give him the Happy Meal before you ask him to snitch, bro. You're not worried that if you throw little and you don't throw out allegations, but like you kind of poke fun at them.
You just ask questions.
You're not worried that it comes back your way? Like people dig up your past and try to pull stuff up?
I don't got that in my past.
Everybody got a little bit.
Look,
like, not that it's real enough.
I took a pill, but it was for me to perform better. For her to remember, buddy. I didn't give her a drink so she forget what the happened. What the fuck is going on here, bro? Yes, I took the drug. I gave me the fucking drug to perform. So she could remember and possibly love me for that.
Did it work?
What the fuck? This is, yo, bro, look, I'm doing pretty good. I'm pretty good. You know what I mean? Like, but I'm just saying, you said it's the opposite of normal shit that we're talking about, bro.
That is why.
Well, I don't know why it's so hard for people
so
just
for
to
people to feel like you would have something or you would have reserved energy because you feel like you was doing it too. This is people that are looking on the separation between their hardships or their the things that they got going on that would be issues and what a celebrity's issues would be.
Wait, what does that mean?
They think all celebrities are doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Right, and when you see, if I wasn't saying anything, guess what? You could safely say that a person on the outskirts that is not involved in hip-hop culture could think that everybody in hip-hop culture is with that shit.
Inside the courtroom, things just keep getting darker. Cassie's testimony wasn't some emotional outburst. It was calm, steady, and brutal. She described how Diddy filmed her during sex acts with other men. Sometimes he'd watch from the corner, sometimes he'd direct it like a movie. And every time, she felt less like a person and more like a something he owned. Another witness, a male escort, backed it up. Said he was paid thousands to sleep with Cassie while Diddy watched. Said she looked terrified, like she wasn't there. He left the hotel room feeling sick. Said the whole thing felt wrong, even if no one said no.
We're also expecting Cassie Ventura to take the stand later on today, which of course is going to be very interesting testimony to listen to.
Oh, without a doubt, Kelly. As you know, she's key to this case. She really is, and her testimony could make or break things for the government and for Diddy. Tell me, just backing up for just a beat, you mentioned the witness on the stand currently, Daniel Phillip, the male escort. Starting things off yesterday, some really shocking pieces of information, as you know, came in, Kelly, about where he's detailing being asked to urinate on Cassie while Sean Combs was allegedly watching and masturbating. I'm curious if you noticed any reaction from the members of the jury when they were hearing a lot of that.
So inside the courtroom there, everyone is being told they cannot have any outbursts or anything like that or any real reaction. So inside that courtroom, no. There also, Julie, is media overflow rooms. And inside those media overflow rooms, a lot of reaction. So the public is in there as well. The public is making a lot of reactions. You hear a lot of commentary when these details are coming out. Outbursts, the security is coming over and talking to a lot of the people, telling them that they have to keep it down. But other people inside the actual courtroom for the case where that's happening, no real reaction at all. But this testimony, as you mentioned, Julie, has been graphic in nature as he talked about, for instance, being asked to urinate onto Cassie, and he said she asked him to do that. He talked about Sean Diddy Combs being in the corner.
And through it all, Diddy sat stone-faced. No reaction, no emotion. But in the room, you could feel it. The tension, the weight. Like everyone knew this wasn't going away. Not this time. Now, 50 Cent has said that Diddy really should have taken the plea deal he had on the table. After Cassie Ventura took the stand for a third day on Thursday, 50 had something to say about Diddy's legal moves. Meanwhile, 50 Cent didn't hold back. After hearing Ventura's latest testimony, he jumped on social media and said, "After listening to today's testimony, I think the diddler should have took the plea offer. The yes they're saying is beyond me, so what do you think?" Gene Deal thought the very same thing.
Take his counsel advice. Because if he think he's gonna get out of this from the federal government, he out his mind. They in the process of plea bargaining, trying to do a plea bargain session with him, and he not taking it. That's probably why one of the lawyers jumped off the case. Remember Benjamin Bradford, his first lawyer with the Cassie situation? He said, give her the 10 million and make this go away, brother. He ended up giving her 30 million. He's not taking the lawyer's advice. 9 times out of 10, they probably got him a good plea bargain. Yo, listen to me, we can give you 15 years. 10 or 15 years. You do that, you come out, you only have to do like 12, 13. Come off to a halfway house. You still can live some of your life out as a free man.
But if Diddy didn't take the plea deal, does he think he can win this case? 50's been posting regularly about the claims Ventura's made against Diddy while on the stand. A lot of the questioning lately has been about texts and emails between her and Diddy, especially after the prosecution focused earlier in the week on those wild freak-off sex parties she described in detail. Then he brought up a shocking accusation involving Kid Cudi, referring to claims that Diddy once blew up Cudi's car because he found out Cudi was dating Ventura.
With this man you're looking at right here, Kid Cudi. She was in one of those freak-offs, and then Sean got a hold of her phone and then realized that they had been having a relationship together, and she said that that did not go over very well, to say the least. So one of the other things that defense counsel has been saying back and forth with Cassie, when Cassie is responding with things like, "I can't recall, it's a long time ago," at one point defense counsel said, "Yeah, it was a long time ago, and it sounds like you were doing a lot of drugs. Cassie's drug use has been front and center in this case. She readily admitted to using drugs and that she had to use drugs in order to take part in those freak-offs. We can put some full screens up on the screen for you, kind of tell you a little bit about what some of the testimony has been like today. So she did testify that her friends knew about the physical abuse because they often witnessed it. Her parents and brother knew about the abuse as well.
Do you agree with 50 Cent? Let us know in the comments.